In this expository writing video, we are going to talk about revisions. This is the part where we get to edit our paper or our essay to make it even better before we write our final copy. Now, there are two parts to revising, and it's very important to separate the two parts. Do not try to do it all at once because you'll increase your chances of missing something important. So it's really important to separate it into two parts. The first part is the message. We want to revise the message. And this is where we might make changes to the words or sentences. We could add words or sentences or delete words or sentences from our expository essay. And we can try to use more descriptive language to make the message even better. Here's an example of how we can change the message. I have a sentence here that says, "Dogs can be many colors." Now, that's not a bad sentence at all, but I think I could make it better. So I'm going to revise it using red pen because using red will help you to see your revisions more clearly. And I will revise this sentence to read, "Dogs can be a variety of colors, including brown, black, white, and orange." And now I think I have a pretty great and descriptive sentence. So that's one of the revisions I did. Here is the paragraph I wrote about lacrosse and the equipment needed in the last video. Now I want to revise this one to make it even better. How can I revise this one? Well, I'm going to take a look at the message, the information I'm providing. Can I make it better? Can I add to it or cross it out? Well, I'm going to read this. There is a lot of important equipment needed to play lacrosse. You know what? I like that sentence. I'm going to leave it alone. First, every player needs a lacrosse stick, and each game will need a ball. I'm going to change that just a little bit to say each game will need one ball. Okay. It is important to have two nets. Well, why is it important to have two nets? I'm going to change this or add to it. It is important to have two nets for scoring. Excellent. Then the last sentence says each player should also wear a helmet and safety goggles. I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to have it say each player should also wear a helmet to protect. It's kind of tough to write on this. To protect their head. Helmets protect heads, right? And safety goggles to protect their eyes. Now, I didn't make a ton of changes, but I feel like the changes I made to the message is pretty good. I've added some information. I've given a little more description and detail. So that's a good revision paragraph. Remember, when you make changes to the message, you can change the words or sentences. You could add words or delete words or sentences, and you can try to use more descriptive language. Now that you have read through your story and made changes to the message, it's time to read through it a second time, but this time you will focus on the mechanics of your writing. Mechanics refers to things like having capitals at the start of every sentence and on every name, having punctuation like periods at the end of a sentence or maybe exclamation points or question marks. Commas are important to have too. And also spelling is part of your mechanics. So here's that paragraph again. And I've made a few changes so that I'm able to show you how to maybe work on some of the mechanics. So when I read this sentence, the first thing that jumps out to me is that I don't think I spelled this word correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle it, and I'm going to use what's called the best guess strategy. So if I'm not quite sure how to spell it, I'm going to spell it a few ways. Equipment. And now this is the best guess strategy. So there's something really interesting about the human brain. We sometimes don't know exactly how to spell a word, but we can look at the word and know, hey, that one looks the best because we've seen this word written in other things like other schoolwork or books that we've read. So our brains tell us, one of those words kind of looks better than the others. And I've decided this one looks the best, so I'm going to circle that one, and that's the one I'll go with on my good copy. And that's called the best guess strategy for spelling. So I'm going to continue with this sentence. There is a lot of important equipment needed to play lacrosse. First, every player needs a lacrosse stick, and each game will need a ball. Interesting. I feel like I'm missing a period right here, so I better put that in. Good. It is important to have two nets. Well, I've noticed at the beginning of this sentence, I don't have a capital I, so I'm going to change that. And for some reason, I have a capital T on two, but I don't need that, so I'm going to change that as well. Each player should also wear a helmet and safety goggles. My brain's telling me that doesn't quite look right, so I'm going to try the best guess strategy. I'm going to write it a few ways. Now, when I look at these different ways of spelling helmet, my brain's telling me one of these looks better than the others. And you know what? I think it's this one. So I would circle that one, and when I make my good copy, I'll make sure to use that spelling. So that's how you do some revisions to the mechanics, the capital letters, the periods or question marks or exclamation points. Oh, you know what? I'd rather have an exclamation point right here at the end too, because that's important. All right, moving on. A comma is very important because a comma tells the reader when or where to pause. Kind of helps to make the meaning of a sentence clear. Sometimes if you have a long sentence with some ideas that you want to combine, you use a comma to combine those thoughts. If you don't have a comma, the writing can be a bit tricky. Here's an example. Let's eat grandma. Well, if you screamed that out, your grandmother would probably go and hide because that's kind of a strange thing to yell out. But if we add a comma, let's eat grandma, it changes the meaning of the sentence. And now your grandmother is not hiding because she just knows you're hungry to eat. I like cooking dogs and kids. That's weird. Kind of sounds like I like to cook dogs and kids. Just by adding one comma, I like cooking dogs and kids. I really changed the meaning of that sentence. So remember to add commas when you are revising because it can really help. It's important to punctuate students. It's important to punctuate students. So have fun with your revisions. Make sure to do two parts. First, read through the story and change the message, which is like the information you're providing. Make it better and more descriptive. And then the second time, read through and change the mechanics, which is capital letters, spelling, punctuation. Make sure to use a red pen as well, because once you start your good copy, you'll be able to see your revisions much more clearly. All right, have fun revising.